I'm Paul Hutton. I wear multiple hats in life. One of them is the owner of the website Highways News, which I hope everyone in the room is signed up to and getting the daily emails. If you're not, you're missing out. So we're the only place you need to go for everything you need to know. So do sign up at highways-news.com. And I'm also the communications lead for the Transport Technology Forum, which is the invisible hat I'm wearing at the moment. So we've got a busy old afternoon to come. The first thing I want to do, though, is to just summarise a roundtable discussion we had yesterday afternoon to really kind of set the scene and give feedback to government about basically the whole of the connected vehicle infrastructure, ecosystem, if we want to use that word, etc. It was sponsored by AECOM, and we're very grateful for AECOM's support for this. And a couple of representatives of AECOM were on the roundtable panel to discuss the supply chain and consultancies angle on this. We also had a couple of people from national government. One may or may not be the head of roads infrastructure technology, and the other may or may not be the chief scientific advisor for the DFT. You can draw your own conclusions. We had a representative from a city council, a county council, and a combined authority, and a non-UK national authority plus ITS UK. So a really interesting set of views from different people, and we gave them the exam question: technology in transport, opportunities for road users. What do we think are the key ways that transport will be transformed by technology in the next 5 to 10 years? So I did an experiment, okay, because one of the things that kept coming up was AI, AI, AI. So having spent the 2 and a bit hours scribbling down notes copiously, both myself and Kerry, I then took the recording of the session and chucked it through ChatGPT, and this is what came up. And apart from a couple of little extra notes, it was actually a fairly good summary of what we talked about. So the key action points that came out of our discussion, that you may or may not agree with: develop clearer national transport technology priorities and policy direction, create open standards for transport data and connected vehicle systems, expand national transport data platforms and ensure high quality validated data sets while considering European examples and cooperation with those. Improve business case frameworks so digital investments can be assessed more effectively. Address the skills gap in digital and data expertise within transport authorities. Promote collaboration and knowledge sharing across authorities and industry. Integrate digital systems into wider transport planning and infrastructure investment. And improve communication of technology benefits and politicians, politicians and to the public. And that was a really, really key point that kept coming out over and over again, which is why I moved it to last in the list, because if there's one thing we need to do, it's actually that we do amazing things in this room, and we're really rubbish at explaining to politicians why it's such a great thing and to the public why it's such a great thing, which is why you still get the photo op with the hard hat cutting a new piece of road or something, because that's far more exciting than a new app, even though the new app can deliver things, you know, that deliver safety, cleaner air, more efficiency, so much better and so much cheaper. Key lessons we had from the discussion: funding and government structures are bigger barriers than the technology itself, and I think we all know that. We've got the technology, it's how on earth we get it paid for and implemented. Digital infrastructure is becoming as important as physical road infrastructure. This is something we have to get over to everybody else. Authorities must maintain control of trusted transport data. There was a concern that obviously if you've got multiple sat-nav providers, they can be basically removing any influence that the authority has over how people use their roads, what roads they actually use. You know, they could end up going down a completely unsuitable road. How do we work that one out? Transport technology benefits are often system-wide and harder to quantify, and so we have to work on how we're going to quantify everything. Skill shortages in data and digital systems are slowing adoption. I think we can all agree with that. Technology will likely improve existing networks rather than replace them, which I think is true as well. AI and predictive analytics offer opportunities, but depend on better data, and not just better data, but trustworthy data, and us understanding where the data comes from. And often that's something that we see all this data, and you can see data on, let's pick Google Maps, but others are available. Where's that data coming from was the question. And how do we know, if we don't know where it's coming from and how it's gathered, how do we know what we can use and what we can't? And national leadership and standardization will be essential for scaling solutions, which is your feedback to the DFT, who are obviously behind the whole of the TTF. Quick wins we asked, and these I'd noted down, and I just basically went around the room and asked every single person, give me an example of a quick win or something that we can do straight away. Harness more data into more services to be effective was one answer. Show the art of the possible. So don't run before you can walk and try and do everything in one go. Just prove it. Do little incremental steps. Make the most of the work the private sector has done. So there was one bit of example, and they're out exhibiting. The Insight platform from Clearview Intelligence was mentioned as an example of something that's really, really good. It exists, it works, use it. It's not just transport planning now, it's preemptive information to optimize and influence the user. And then one that Andy Graham, who's obviously behind all the demos you're going to see tomorrow, this would be music to his ear, except he's outside sorting the demos, so he's not going to hear it. E-call data, not only for emergency services, but also for road operators so that they know about crashes on the network and emergencies on the network immediately. That's something that may be being done just across the water that we could copy here as well. So that was the summary. Thank you very much to ACOM for supporting the roundtable, and the full reports will be written up by human beings in due course and published on the TTF website.